Hey guys, it's Cameron at OU's Properties. Hope everyone's been keeping well. And we're a day away from National Heritage Day. So guys, I hope everyone gets a wonderful chance to have a bit of a relax, have some friends and family over. I think everyone deserves a little bit of a break considering the year that we've had so far. The reason for my video today is just to talk a little bit about lease agreements and how they may or may not impact a sale agreement. Now, many of you might have heard there's an old Dutch term and it reads something along the lines of hier gaat voor koop. And effectively what that means is that the lease goes before the sale, or rather the first contract takes precedent. However, there are some leases that have been agreed between landlords and tenants where they agree that if the landlord is looking to sell the property, that they can terminate that particular lease early. However, very, very important, before going into anything like this is to make sure whether those clauses are in place, yay or nay. If not, the agreement basically stands that the lease does in fact take precedent over the sale agreement. There are a couple of things though to think about when one is looking to take over a lease. If you're a buyer, and probably the most important one is that lease in writing? It's actually frightening how many leases have been agreed by landlords verbally. So you're taking over a property and the agreement on that particular property, there's a verbal agreement rather, and what are the terms of that? So something may have been done with a handshake, but it might have been done 6 months ago, a year ago, maybe even a couple of years ago. Does it still stand the test of time now? So very, very important that if you are looking to take over a property, not just the property, maybe it's a cottage on the property, is that prior to you taking over as owner, is to get that agreement in writing with the tenant so that everyone's basically playing on the same playing field. One of the other things that one needs to have a look at is the tenant that you're taking over as a buyer. So has that tenant been a good payer? Do they pay on time? What's their record like? Or maybe even more important than that, and I know it's quite scary to say more important than that, have they had good behavior? Or have they been people that people have been complaining about in terms of late night parties and those sorts of things? Because one needs to understand that issue then becomes yours once you become the new owner of the property. So if you're buying into a complex, the complex obviously has a set of rules, and both you as the landlord and now the tenants, they have to sign to those rules. So if you've got unruly tenants, that issue then definitely without doubt would become your problem. One of the other things that people forget about is we talk about the lease agreement and the fact that the lease agreement will now go into the name of the new owner. One of the things that often is overlooked are the inspection documents in terms of when the tenant first moved in. Was there an inspection done? Another way of calling it would be a snag list. Was that snag list done, and what work still needs to be completed? In other words, there might have been an agreement between tenant and landlord that the landlord was going to make certain repairs, and those now haven't happened. The question is now, you as the new buyer or the new owner, are you going to be expected to make good on those particular repairs? And then finally, and this is a little bit from the landlord or the seller point of view, just to let you guys know that it's very, very difficult generally for the estate agent to set up viewings. One has to understand that the tenants aren't as motivated to sell the unit as you. And although your agreement probably says that the tenant will allow reasonable access to the property, what we've seen in the past is that this can be quite difficult because, as I say, the tenants aren't as motivated. So if you are thinking of selling, please have a chat with the tenant that's in place and just discuss what the needs and requirements of in terms of once you want to take the property to market. Guys, thank you very much. And please remember, if you're looking at buying or selling, renting or leasing your property, OU's Properties, the #1 choice as rated by Hello Peter.